Alright, so let's take a look at what it means to be in factored form. So again, we've taken standard form, which looks like this, vertex form, which looks like this, and now we're looking at factored form. Alright, so what does factored form look like? So once again, you'll have some number outside, or an invisible 1 sometimes. Then you will have x minus p, some number, and then x minus q, some other number. So A, P, and Q are just numbers. I'm just using letters to represent those. Okay, so P and Q gives you the x-intercepts. And what does that mean again? It's where it crosses the x-axis. So P and Q gives you where it crosses the x-axis. But again, just like before, pay attention to the negative before the P and Q. If someone says x-intercepts, is if they say zeros, or if they say roots, or if they say solutions. Okay, so all 4 of these words mean the exact same thing. So let's take a look at what that means. All right, so when you get a quadratic, you're going to have 3 choices. You're going to have either 2 solutions, and what does that mean? It crosses the x-axis twice. So just draw a graph where it crosses the x-axis twice. This is a listening check. Color in 2 solutions. Your 2 solutions are where it crosses the x-axis. Once again, that's called x-intercept, zeros, roots, or solutions. Okay, all of them mean the exact same thing. So you have 2 solutions if it crosses twice. You'll have 1 solution if it crosses what? Once. So what does that look like? That. Okay, where it only touches it right there. 1 solution. Okay, so that's 1 0 or 1 root, 1 solution, or 1 x-intercept. You have 0 solution if it does not touch the axis at all. So if it does not touch this x-axis, what does that look like? Let's do something like, oh, there's no solutions because it does not touch it. Alright, so I'm going to show you the harder one, and then you can do example 1. So I'll do example 2. Alright, so as always, A is what tells you if it's up or down. So what is A in my case? Invisible 1, so it's positive, so this is up. So it has a minimum. Alright, the new thing to do is looking at factored form. And what factored form just basically is if you remember, another word for it, for x-intercepts, is also roots, solutions, and zeros. Okay, so roots, solutions, and zeros. And the reason I'm saying that more specifically, so there are 4 different ways of saying the exact same thing, and the question can say 4 different things, so you do need to know that all of this mean exactly the same thing. So I'm mentioning roots, zeros here more specifically because the way you find your x-intercept is by setting each parentheses equal to 0. Each of the parentheses equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and write it down. So the first parenthesis is 2x plus 4 equal to 0. And the second parenthesis is 3x plus 3 equals to 0. Alright, so go ahead and draw my river. Alright, we're going to cross this over to the other side. That's going to become negative 4. So now I have 2x equals negative 4. What do I do to solve for x? I divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to get x is equal to negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So one of the solutions is negative 2. Remember, you can have 0 solutions, 1 solutions, or 2 solutions. All right, let's solve this next one. So 3x plus 3 is 0. So we're going to take the 3 over to the other side. That's going to become negative 3. That goes away. So this is 3x equals to negative 3. All right, now what are we going to do? We're going to divide both sides by 3. So we're going to get x is equal to negative 3 divided by 3 would be negative 1. So in this case, I have 2 solutions. Those are my roots, my zeros, my x-intercepts, or my solutions, 2 solutions. Okay, so this just simply means this is where it crosses the x-axis, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in for you to see. So it crosses at negative 2. So negative 2 right here, and it also crosses at negative 1 right here. Okay, now when you're putting these answers in, because they do want it in coordinates, we're going to put an x and then a y value. So x is negative 2. When x is negative 2, y is equal to 0. And my other solution is negative 1, 0. Okay, so that's how you put it in. All right, now that you know that, so I know it's a graph that's going up and down and crosses through these points. I'm not going to find my y-intercept in this case. I'm going to use my vertex to find my axis of symmetry. So
I need to find my vertex so I can find my axis of symmetry. To find your vertex, what you do is you draw your axis of symmetry is halfway between your roots. You draw a number line. So I'm going to draw my number line with my roots. So my two roots are -1 and 2. So I'm going to label -2 and -1, because if this was a number line, it would then go to 0. On this side would go to -3, right? So 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so forth. All right, so it says halfway, so I'm going to find my vertex by finding also my axis of symmetry halfway between the roots. So right now it's between -2 and -1. So what's this halfway point between these two? Well, this is going to be -1.5. So this is going to be, my x value is going to be equal to -1.5, which guess what is my axis of symmetry. So x equals -1.5. All right, to find your vertex, so that's your x value for your vertex. Now to find your y value, all you have to do is plug that in. So you plug that y value into the original equation and put it all up in the calculator and let the calculator do the work for you. So again, what are you plugging in? So anywhere I see x, I'm going to replace that with my new value of x, which is -1.5. All right, then I see +4, and then I close parentheses, open parentheses, 3. Then I see an x, put that in parentheses, -1.5, then +3, then close the parentheses. Okay, again, so this looks like a hot mess, but the calculator will understand exactly what you're doing. If you put all of that in the calculator, you're going to get -1.5. So x is -1.5, and this is y is also -1.5. So when I write the vertex, remember you write x and then y, so they're both equal to -1.5. Like that. All right, so let's go ahead and plot that in. So we've got -1.5, about halfway, right? -1.5, so somewhere right here. So that right there is my vertex, which means my axis of symmetry is a straight line going up and down from my vertex. And remember, your graph should be going up. So I'm just going to join in the points for what I got so far, because this is a sketch. Something like this is fine. Okay, so again, you just find whether it's up or down, your minimum or maximum, your zeros where it crosses the x-axis. Use your zeros to find your axis of symmetry and then sketch in that graph. So go ahead and do example 1. The only difference with example 1 is that they have an a value here, which again you can just ignore because you're just setting the parentheses equal to 0. A faster way, now that I've done that, I'm actually going to show you a shortcut, and let's see if you are going to be okay with the shortcut. It's okay if you don't understand the shortcut. We can just keep setting it equal to 0 since you now know how to do the math. The shortcut is always going to be, it's going to be opposite of whatever is inside the parentheses. So you see this is a positive, so my answer was going to be negative. See, this is a positive, so it's going to be negative. All right, so whenever you have one of these, if it was just x plus 4, it would be -4 would be that answer. If it was just x plus 3, -3 would be that answer. But when you have a coefficient with the x, what it is you just divide it to this other one. So this will be 4 divided by 2 and opposite. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, opposite is -2. All right, same thing here. You would just divide that here. So 3 divided by 3 is 1 and opposite is -1. So that's the shortcut. But if the shortcut doesn't make sense to you, this is how you actually do it. With enough practice, you're going to actually just be looking at it and seeing it immediately. All right, again, so I just want to show you how to put this in the calculator. So again, follow desmos.com, practice, click graphic calculator, choose assessment, whatever state you are in, start practice, and do that every time because this calculator has more things than you'll be given on the test. Type y equals, you shift 6 for the power. So we're typing this is, there's no power, so that's okay. So I'm going to type y equals, and I see a negative. Then I see a parentheses, so we're just typing this in. X plus 2, close the parentheses, open another parenthesis, and then x minus 4, close the parentheses. All right, so just make sure, double check to see that you've done the exact same thing. And we're going to graph this accurately because now it is not a sketch. If you just click on each point, it will give you some values. So that's what we're going to put on our graph. So we're going to put, it has intercepts at -2, 0, so dot right there. 1 at 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y-intercept at 0, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 9. Boom. And you can find some other corners. Let's see, like that one, -3. So you just move your mouse until you find a corner. So -3, -7. So -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Somewhere there. And if there's a point right here, there's also one on this other side. So just move your cursor until you find it. 5, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -7. All right, so go ahead and do your best to join those up. All right, perfect. So this is not a sketch. Make sure you draw this exact. Then we're going to go ahead and do this by hand without the graph and confirm it with the graph. Okay, so again, is it up or down? We're going to look at our A value. It's negative, so this means it's going to be down. Unhappy people, sad, right? Which means it's going to have a maximum based on my A. All right, to find my roots, I set each parenthesis equal to 0. Remember, the shortcut is just opposite, so that's going to be -2, and this is just going to be 4. But again, you could write it out, so I'll write it out for you. So you put each parenthesis equal to 0, x plus 2 is equal to 0. All right, take this to the other side. It's going to be -2. That goes away, so x is equal to -2. So again, as we're doing this, we're going to check. So I should have an unhappy face. Yep, I do. I cross over at -2 on the x-axis. I do. This other one is x minus 4 is equal to 0. All right, we're going to go ahead and take this to the other side. That's going to be +4. That goes away, so x is equal to 4. Let's check that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect. All right, so far we are so good. To find the vertex, it's halfway between these 2 points. So what you do is you draw a number line. So I need a number line between -2 going up to 4. So we're going to draw a number line starting at -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all I need, right? So I'm halfway between these 2 points. So I'm going to show you, you could do this mathematically, but I'm going to show you to this way. I go 1 like this, that means I go 1 like that because I'm going halfway. 1 like this, I go 1 like that. 1 like this, 1 like that. And this is my halfway point. So my halfway point is going to be at my axis of symmetry is going to be at x equals 1, right? And that's my x coordinate for my vertex, and then all I have to do is do what? Plug that into the y value. So I come back to my original equation, and anywhere I see x, I'm putting in 1. So I see an x, I'm putting in 1. All right, this is my y value, so this is going to be 3. So it's going to be negative on the outside. This is going to be 3, and then here 1 minus 4 is -3. So I have -3 times -3, which is +9. Okay, so +9 will be my y value. So let's go check if my vertex is at 1, 9. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. My vertex is at 1, 9. So once again, guys, you can do this by hand. You can use a calculator. Of course, we're going to be practicing it by hand until we get it all the way together. You are now going to go ahead and do example 3 using your characteristics on what you know so far to fill out everything here. Guys, let's practice.